Hello and welcome to Business with Nico. Today we're going to be talking about organic expansion. Well, basically we're talking about expansion, but within that being organic expansion. So, what exactly is organic growth? What it is actually a natural, slow expansion of a business. You have kind of two main types of organic growth, which would be increasing sales and franchising. Now, organic growth will be when a business actually chooses to grow by using its own products, staff, or brands. And the situation I have here is you've got the two ideas, which are the growth of sales. These are the kind of situations where you launch, you say, okay, we're going to expand by just increasing sales and where you're selling. So this would be the kind of thing where you just go, okay, we'll expand into a new market. We're not going into another business. We're not buying up another business. We're not doing anything like that. We're not, setting up another branch necessarily. We're just offering another service. It's kind of a slow sort of system. You're just sort of chipping away, maybe getting a few extra customers, that sort of thing. For example, this kind of thing would be, increasing your the amount of videos. For example, every single time we make a new video, we're creating another video that you can view on this channel. This is the kind of thing where you have advantages because they're lower cost than developing new products when you do this via when you're just when you're basically just having the same products but they're just there and you're offering them to more people, what it can be. And you also have product knowledge because it's an existing products, you already know that they work and everything. But therefore the disadvantage is it's difficult in actually sourcing finance for this kind of thing, because to increase sales where you actually have to put money in, it can be a problem, because it's like, well, why would I pay so that you can launch an advertising campaign for an existing product? I might pay if you created a new product and then you were just telling people, by the way, guys, I launched a new product. By the way, my new podcast, such and such, But you know what I mean? It's that kind of situation where it's like, well, it's not really there, always going to be very, always going to be very easy to source finance. But it also tends to be very slow in sales. For example, this video, what views did, who knows? This video might go absolutely viral, might get thousands and thousands of views, but it probably won't. But there's also this kind of area where you go, diversification. This kind of area where it's like, well, because you're launching a new product, if you're launching a new product, you tend to have higher profits. For example, if I said, okay guys, we're going to launch a brand new series, it's going to be called Smithco Gaming, so we're going to be gaming, that kind of thing, you might be able to get a few viewers in, or else, of course, you never know, and your entire product might fail. And that, of course, is the thing, because you might have the avenue for where you have customer loyalty, they're like, oh well, I know your brand, so I'll continue to buy from you, but there's a disadvantage. What happens if you have this kind of higher cost? Because obviously you have to launch into this new market. And here's the thing: if I launch a new video, that video might actually be technically free. Well, obviously when I say free, I mean with the expense to the electricity created and all that sort of thing. But my point is, at a day-to-day level, those costs would be the exact same as if I just made, the same product. I'm making the same. I'm making basically the same thing. Sure, I might be spending that electricity on something else, but at the end of the day, with obviously the exception of labor, obviously, I guess if you have a channel that has to pay, if you're a channel, for example, that has to pay editor and all that. But the point is, when you come to the business level, it's like, well, you're looking at this and thinking, okay, well, you don't necessarily have that many costs. Sometimes your costs are actually nothing. They're just fixed costs that would involve whether you were just whatever the product would be. But there's also this kind of problem because it's a high amount of a failure rate, because businesses oftentimes fail, but not the business themselves. It's the product they're selling. Because if I'm a successful business, I'm not like that person who's starting out who has to source money from that bank. I'm not like that person who has to go to the investor and source that money and might actually not get money, even though their idea might be a very good one and it might have even been a successful one. But people don't always want to take the risk. Not saying that just because you're a startup investor today will definitely work if you get investors, but if you are a business which is already there, and let's say you've got profits or you've got money coming in that you can take away and you can say, we'll reinvest that into the business to launch this new product. The thing is there, you may be launching that, and because you have the money, because you don't have to get that elsewhere, you may not necessarily have the best marketing or the best research and development. You know, it might not conform to standards. It might not be exactly what customers want. And you'll see this, like, customers might go, oh, that's cool. Yeah. And then, how much? Yeah, when we said that was cool, we went like, you know, that was cool technology, but like the kind of cool where like you stare in the shop window, or like you Google it and you go online and go, it'd be nice to have that. But obviously we're not going to buy it. Like that's 1,000 quid, or that's 2,000 quid, that's 5,000 quid, or whatever it gives me, or whatever it gives me. But what? Why would we buy that? I don't have that kind of money, and I don't. I can't go out and say, oh, I might think a piece of technology, that's cool. But and if I'm someone that that company I listen to, amongst obviously thousands of other, you know, like, oh, you think it's cool? Like, yes, it seems cool to me. But the question you have to ask is not, oh, do customers want this product? More, will customers be able to buy this product? Because you will get this out there, especially when you go into the technological world. Like, not so much with other industries, but specifically the technological world, where it's like, well, if you make a piece of technology that is cool, has nice features, that has all these kind of things, then yes, you may get millions of customers who want to buy a product. Number one, of course, you have to get advertisements and you have to get your brand name to them. But number two, you have to get them to buy it. Because as I said before, just because someone wants to buy something doesn't mean they will. Not necessarily because they're unsure about it, just it may be perfect. They may really, really want to buy it. But here's the thing, I'm not going to go into debt to get something I only want. I only go into debt if I really need to. Like if I have to pay rent or whatever like that, well then, you know, there's avenue for it where you kind of need to, and then it's like, well, you know, obviously then you have to do it. But you know, but of course that's the issue. There's a high fail rate, and that can come from any department. That can come from marketing, research and development, design, all these situations here. Just naming all these kind of things are really important, because any of them might cause a problem, especially when it's a small business. Because when it's a bigger business, some of the bigger businesses might even get this sort of thing where it's like you might not get as many customers as you expected, because obviously if you're a big business you'll expect a lot of customers, but you might still get a load more customers than if you were a smaller business. You know, like a small business might have a complete collapse, they might actually fail to cover their costs. But if you're a bigger business, unless let's say you expect 1 million sales, so you make 1 million of the thing, then obviously then it's a bit of a problem, because then you've made 1 million. But if you make, let's say, 10,000 and you go, oh, now you can buy and you can put yourself on the list and all that, then obviously this can manage that and that sort of thing. There you can go, okay, well, we didn't get as many orders as we expected, so we'll cut that product. Yeah, that kind of situation there. But you also have all these kind of things where you have organic expansion, where you have to think like, okay, so we can also expand into new markets. So this is kind of a situation where you say, okay, well, we think, you know, we can expand into this new market, but obviously it's, you know, still organic expansion, because you're still just opening up a new area. You know, you're just saying, well, we're opening up a new shop. Basically, let's say you're in one country and you, as you would, you'd open up a shop, or you'd open up into a new market, start selling to, you know, you might start selling to a shop, or you'd start shipping to an area if you are an online business. And that's the thing. You go in there and you say, okay, here, we're offering you this thing. But sometimes a business might go, okay, let's expand, you know, into this new market. But let's, you know, in some cases it might be, you know, just sort of small expansion. Like let's say you start out business in your own hometown and then you expand outwards. But other times you go, if you're a national business, you might go, oh, okay, well, let's expand. Of course, one way to do this is like competition can have this kind of benefit where, let's say I'm in my country, and let's say I'm a pretty big deal in my country. Now, I'm not a pretty big deal on the world stage. I am nowhere as big as your business, you know, on the world stage. Like, I'm tiny in comparison to you on the world stage. But here's the thing. If you go into my country, I'm massive in my own country. And that's the point. You may be facing competition which is maybe tiny in comparison to you overall, but what happens when that competition basically tells customers, well, they may be bigger than us on the world stage, but at this level, we are still far bigger than them. We still have, a lot of places open up. We still have a lot of loyal customers and all this distribution here, which means that while you may have a bigger overall customer loyalty, you may have millions of people who are loyal to you, but these people might have the majority of the area you want to expand. So it's just a thing to do area if you are a business that wants to expand. Sometimes businesses expand, they can fail, and also I would say some businesses may appear to be good, better value because they're bigger. Not necessarily. Some businesses may be just as good as local businesses. They just keep more profit because their costs are lower. And there's also the idea where it's like, well, sometimes you might not always want to support kind of multinational corporations because, well, they're a bit dangerous and they might lead to a monopoly, especially if you support them and don't support local businesses, because then local businesses will obviously, cease to exist. You might want to go, okay, well, that's what we will just support local business over the multinational, even if that means we have to pay a little bit more. But that kind of thing there. Anyway, that's all that we'll be discussing this time. In the next video, we'll be looking at franchising. Please don't understand. If not, you can view other videos, and you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel that would have a whole bunch. If you don't want to view the other videos, but now and in the future, I'll just leave this bye for everything. I really hope that you will enjoy the rest of your existence.